Raptor Education Foundation. We are in our 42nd year. And, you know, all kinds of birds. And she has our new Eastern Screech owl. 2021 has definitely been a year of transition for us. Our previous male Eastern Screech owl, he passed away at the end of March. He was at least 17 years old. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the biology and some of the more interesting natural history facts. Yeah, just go ahead and keep on walking. I think when Jeff and I were discussing, and Lauren discussing this year's birds, he said that in some of the state parks, you guys are erecting screech owl nest boxes. The interesting thing about Eastern Screech owl in Colorado is they're extremely common, but we do not know a whole lot about them. Bird Conservancy of the Rockies has a citizen science project up in Fort Collins along the Cache-la-Poudre, and they are attempting to monitor screech owls. So these guys breed in Alaska and they winter in Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, Texas, Kansas. It's a pretty limited range. I mean, they can kind of go almost. So the history of the name, John James Audubon was the one that first described the Harlan's hawk when he was running around in this part of the world in the early 1800s, but he really did not know what they were. He used to call them my black warriors because he really only saw the dark ones. So as they did back then, he shot several specimens and sent them to his amateur ornithologist, dentist friend, Dr. Harlan in Philadelphia. And it was section here. This is our 8-year-old male prairie falcon. He does have both wings, however, he's got a pretty severe left wing injury, which is frozen, and therefore he does not have any primaries on his left wing. So I think the prairie falcon is one of the most underrated, underappreciated raptors in the world. Everybody's like, oh, peregrine this and peregrine that, blah, blah, blah. Everybody loves peregrines. And yes, peregrines are found worldwide on every continent. America's bird. And they are amazing, amazing survivors living in this arid west of ours. So this guy weighs about 16.5 ounces. A healthy flying wild bird would be that or 17 or so. Well, Jackie, stop right there you go. Let the, yeah, you guys know what to do. Everybody at home can see this little guy. Dusty brown, long tail, off-white cream in the front with dots. Not the horizontal hatching that a Cooper's hawk or a peregrine would have. In flight, the dark axillaries are diagnostic. However, they are. This is our new peregrine falcon, and I am super excited. Take your time, Bev, for you guys to see him because he is in transitional plumage. He is a little bit over a year, but as you can see, he has a ton of retained juvenile feathers, mostly on his back. But if you look at his front, the belly, his flags, the upper thighs, he looks like he was kind of colored by committee. He still has the brown arrow point edged with cream first-year juvenile feathers. And friends of ours, their birding group, photographed a bird looking very, very much like him along the South Platte in the middle of the summer. Prairie, I just wanted you guys to notice the size. Peregrines are slightly larger, but visually in the air, it's not something you really appreciate right now. But to my knowledge, at this point, we have at least 225 known eyrie locations in Colorado. This is our new old gentleman. He is 19 years old. He is a retired breeder, and he's a bottomless pit right now, 280. He's out of the house. He's about 35 ounces. And the nice thing is all three of these guys are male. So you can do a little bit of a comparison. Now, we all know that for the last couple of years, hopefully he comes back, there's been a gray bird at the Larimer County landfall in Fort Collins. Showed up as a first-year bird. Hi, bud. So my old man. Okay. He's still getting used to programs here. And he is a hard imprint. Just kind of big flying bombers in the sky, so to speak. Arctic range, they breed in Canada, they breed in Alaska, Iceland, Greenland, Norway, Denmark, part of Sweden, Russia as well. Highly migratory, especially their first couple of years. Really 3 or 4 color morphs, 3 natural wild ones. Natural white gyrfalcons that you're going to see in Greenland or Alaska have black stripes on their tail. They have been artificially selected for breeding for falconry, which is why this guy has almost no white on his tail. Yeah, thank you. So she's 6 now, you guys, believe it or not. I know, 6. We got her in she hatched in 2015, we got her in 2016. Look at her, oh my gosh. Wow. She really has come into her own in the last year, and particularly with Jennifer Redmond and myself, her comfort level with people, it continues to astonish me, and she just calls. If I stayed here long enough, she's going to start vocalizing. She now thinks that any place she is with people, she is the star. And she is tired of hearing me. She is 12 pounds right now. Wow. Yeah, I know. You have no idea. There's not enough ibuprofen in the world for me and Jennifer right now. For those of you unfamiliar with her history, this bird was taken from the nest in the Rawlins, Wyoming area. We are guessing that she not hunts. She doesn't go and hang out with other bald eagles to try and, get food and steal something. Not afraid of people. So we were allowed to acquire her at 18 months of age in September of 2016. And she was 8 3/4 pounds when we got her. So we porked her up with food to get her to realize that humans really were going to feed her and she didn't need to lay us out of food. And it has been a ton of fun watching her change. You guys, November of 16, were one of her first public appearances. And I consulted very heavily with the Raptor Center in Minnesota, who have probably treated and worked with more bald eagles than any other institution on Earth, about her behavior. Birds have 2 stomachs. You guys know that, right? Okay. Good. Yes? No? Okay. Birds have 2 stomachs. The proventriculus is the glandular stomach. So in raptors, this is where digestion takes place. Extremely acidic, can digest bones. Vultures, eagles, falcons. The second stomach is the ventriculus or the gizzard. Just call it the gizzard. So your turkey. The turkey gizzard is simply a trash compactor. That's the mechanical stomach. That's what crushes everything. So no true glandular acidic digestion takes place in the gizzard. It just crushes whatever is behind. That's part of the reason why the galliforms, the chickens and the quail and the pheasants, like to eat grit, because those stones help them crush corn and anything else hard, any other grains that their proventriculus can't digest. People have fed domestic turkeys iron nails and then slaughtered them and found them bent in half like horseshoes in the gizzard. The gizzard is an extremely strong, or it works like a trash compactor. And the pellet, the casting, is formed in the gizzard. It's just compacted there, and then, because all the nutrition has pretty much been taken out and digested in the chamber, the proventriculus before, so then feathers, bones, now compacted, digested, the rest goes into the intestines, and the remaining amount, caught, so to speak, thrown up. I don't know what else. Oh, it's owl puke, and it's like, well, it's not really puke, it's normal. They're supposed to do that. I like to think of it as like a bottle brush, So yes, I hope you had fun and maybe learned a little something.